Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Chelsea. You know that. I know that. I'm just a lady with a bulldog, a camera, and a lot of opinions. And today we need to talk about the Mistress life coach, who unfortunately shares the same first name as I do, Anyways, Chelsea Smallwood, also known as the other woman and the wife. It's one of those videos today where I have 4 ad reads to film and a bunch of other content to film. I do not have my son today, so he's having a little Nana adventure. Thank goodness. And my husband is out of the house too. Also, thank goodness. I'm very excited to have like a full day by myself. Let's go ahead, get myself ready for some batch filming and talk about Chelsea Smallwood, the Mistress coach extraordinaire. Also, hey, hi. All this is my own opinion. Calm down. This is literally my understanding of everything. And listen, if there's one thing that we should know is that I don't always understand stuff, okay? Sometimes I do be getting stuff wrong, all right? And that's okay. However, we're going to go over some court documents because of course, people are suing each other, sending cease and desists, being absolute clout goblins, dare I say. Now, we go over this a lot more in depth on my podcast, Here for the Clout, with my co-host, Sherilyn Dale. She's amazing. We love her. Please go follow Here for the Clout. We actually have been trying to get a statement from Chelsea Smallwood. We messaged her on TikTok last night, because we recorded an episode, and I even just texted Sherilyn this morning, and I was like, girl, we got to do this again. we got to re-record. And plus, because I was working with my new audio setup. Of course, I guess set it up wrong when we recorded last night, so it's like all not great. Anyways, let's get it. So friends, Pajama Chelsea here, cutting in real quick before we get too far into this video to talk to you about something very serious. I have a dream. You guessed it, baby. This video is sponsored by Beam. And today we're going to be talking about a dream. Now, I don't know if y'all know this, but when you are a parent, a new parent, a young parent, Chelsea, you're in your mid-30s. What are you talking about? You're not a young parent. I have a toddler, okay? It is, how do you say, exhausting, exhilarating, hilarious. As you can imagine, I can't get much done during the day when I'm with him, because he's so feral. And then also just my thoughts are racing so much. The household load, basically, just thinking so much. And then once he does go to sleep, I'm like, cool, now I have to fold the laundry, do the dishes, I have to do this, I have to do that. But then once everything's done, I'm like, okay, well, let me just relax. However, I kind of can't, because then my thoughts are still racing and I'm like, I need to just chill. Also get ready to go to bed. You know, it's a big old struggle, or at least it used to be prior to Dream being an essential part of this household. Now, almost every night, like clockwork, when Tony, my husband, is watching God knows what on YouTube, I will get a text at about 9:30 every night that says, "Can you make the nighttime drink?" He's referring to Dream. While I'm mixing this up, let me tell you more about it. Dream is clinically shown to improve sleep. 93% of participants reported back saying that Dream helped them get a more restful night's sleep and that they woke up feeling more refreshed. And they do have a CBD version and a CBD-free version. Dream helps you fall asleep, stay asleep longer, and wake up more refreshed. It's got no added sugar, only 15 calories. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, keto-friendly, and non-GMO. Now, I definitely am someone who I don't have the problem staying asleep necessarily. Going to sleep, yes, because of those racing thoughts and, oh, I have to do this, and oh my gosh, I should do this. One of my goals for at least the first quarter of 2025 is to have more of a structure to my day and a schedule to my week. And I think that would really help me a lot, since I only have childcare 3 days a week, and I really do need to utilize that time a lot and be able to schedule things out and just be really organized. And I know realistically that starts with better sleep. If you also want to be a more well-rested version of yourself in 2025, then please do take advantage of Beam's New Year's sale and get up to 40% off when you go to shopbeam.com/CCSUAREZ, and that is for a limited time only. My personal favorite is the brownie batter flavor. That's exactly what it tastes like. It's crazy. And you can get that at shopbeam.com/CCSUAREZ and use the code Suarez for up to 40% off for their New Year's sale. And again, that is limited time only. Now back to the video. So we have Chelsea Smallwood, who on social media, to my understanding, can you tell I'm trying to avoid getting sued? Probably still will though, but it's okay. Chelsea has a podcast called The Other Woman and the Wife. And she started a coaching business a community, definitely not a cult, definitely not, where you can feel empowered and safe and not alone if you are someone who is actively partaking in an affair, a marital affair. So that's cool. And by cool, I mean like not cool, you know? Not cool at all. You might be thinking, well, that's kind of weird. And hey, you're not wrong. I also am of the belief that it is weird. I am of that opinion, rather. So for this much, this frequently, I think it's like $78, $87 a quarter, which is kind of weird that it's like a quarter. At least I think that's weird because it's like, why not just a month? I don't know. 80-ish, 90-ish, whatever dollars a month. There's 2 different tiers, I believe. And apparently there are other coaches in this group. But to me, at least, because I have not snuck in there, I am not paying this woman any money to get in there because I don't want to. If I wanted to, you know, sleep with someone else without my spouse's consent, I would leave the relationship. It seems to me as though once you join this community, like you also become a coach, but it's like you all can't be coaches. Like if you're all coaches, who's being coached? I don't understand. So also, these people, in my opinion, and to my understanding, it seems like they aren't actually, you know, accredited, credible, licensed. And there's always a difference, as we know. And as y'all always say too, I love when my mental health professionals actually sound off in the comments. So, hey girl. So no, these people are not, to my understanding, mental health professionals or psychiatrists, psychologists, therapists, counselors, anything like that. And like we know from, you know, my other content, there's a difference between licensed and certified. Remember that one video I did about how these are becoming life coaches and how life coach literally means nothing and how you can get a certification from websites that it literally costs $50, $30, whatever, $100 to be able to take a course, get a certification to print off and frame. Remember that when I did that? And I spent so much money on that. Worth it because I became a certified dog hotel owner, a certified ice cream shop owner, a certified life coach, and framed them all. Do you remember that? That's quality content right there. And realistically, in my opinion, these types of courses, it's literally the equivalent of like taking one class. I don't even want to say college course because I don't know if it's like at that level, but that's what it's giving the vibe of. I have taken a lot of psychology classes. Am I a psychologist? Am I a therapist? Do I have any business telling anyone what to do with their mental health other than just sharing my own opinion and my own experience? No, obviously not. We obviously already knew, or rather could have guessed, that Chelsea Smallwood has no business, no pun intended. Actually, pun always intended. We already know that she has no qualifications. However, this article from themarysue.com says part of the other woman and the wife is actually a coaching business. Smallwood, who only has a BA in economics, has no qualifications to serve as a life coach or counselor. Yet her website has an application form where individuals can get one-on-one coaching from her and her fellow quote unquote teaching coaches. Her and her coaches also set up private communities for cheaters to congregate and discuss their affairs openly. One of the coaches working with Smallwood, as we already know, Olivia, had an affair with her best friend and neighbor's husband. Things quickly took an ugly turn when Nicodemus allegedly began using the other woman community to share private information about Kristen Jacobs and her affair. All right, so a bunch of bags who are getting together. This is a joke, calm down. A bunch of get together who are just lacking a lot of morals and potentially want to feel better about their moralless actions. I don't know why that was so hard for me to say. They all get together. They pay this lady to basically, in my opinion, make them feel better about their actions and cheating on their spouses. That's awful. Especially when you think about it this way, that Chelsea Smallwood is monetizing and financially gaining and profiting off of other people's marriages crumbling and reportedly encouraging and furthering those actions. Just gross. I said this in which we will probably have to refilm the episode that we filmed last night because there's been more updates. But in the podcast episode that we filmed last night, I even said, like, you might be thinking, okay, well, how many people are even in this community? How can it be like that financially like beneficial for her and like worth it? Well, first of all, I think that having your ego fed like this is probably one of like the things that, she gets a rise out of the most with it. It's just nasty. But when you are having an affair, and yes, that is isolating because obviously you wouldn't be telling anyone about it, right? And so when you are, and that is something that most people like feel shame about in some way. But then if you are having someone who is encouraging it and is like making you feel normal and making you feel better about your actions, yeah, you pay that person whatever you want or whatever they want, right? Hypothetically. That's crazy. That's crazy. And that's so unhealthy. And that is such a transactional relationship. And in my opinion, such like a manipulative transactional relationship. I'm not a fan of that. It's not okay. And from the comments that I've seen from people on her social media before she wiped them, before she completely like has tried to rebrand and it just is not working for her, which is glorious. But it's wild because it's like you're acting like, oh, we're, here for each other and, this is a safe space. And it's like, okay, well, safe space for who? Are y'all just enabling and encouraging each other's actions and bad behavior? Because apparently this woman has been like bullying the wives and like of the spouses who are cheating and like trying to find them and like exploiting them, reportedly, allegedly. And it's just so gross. So here's a scenario that is explained perfectly from TikTok by another creator. And it's so freaking wild. So this is why one of the main reasons, let's say that. This is one of the main reasons why this specific scenario has blown up so much in the past week, in my opinion, why I think that she has completely just wiped everything. There is a lawsuit or two, technically. There's a lawsuit and like a countersuit, basically. But the counterclaim was, to my knowledge, filed at the end of October, which is weird because she did the counterclaim, but like the internet hadn't really picked up on it. And so she did the counterclaim. And then from there, it seems like the beginning of this month, because that was back in October. So then at the beginning of this month in December, not even really beginning, like middle of December, everything was still up on her TikTok because when Sherilyn and I did our first episode on her, which was last week, all of the content was still up. And then by the time we posted the video, which I'm not saying it was us, I'm not saying we were the catalyst. I think it was gaining a lot of traction on TikTok. Then after our video went live, so like within 2 days, basically, her social media is like wiped and like rebranded. It's wild. It is so wild. Well, thank goodness things are saved because girly, the internet is forever. People remember what you did. So like I said, there are a lot of amazing content creators who have been calling her out on TikTok. One of them is Lauren, and she's awesome. Very like newscaster, broadcastery, and I love it. And I feel like everything you say, if you say it in like that voice or with that vibe, it just comes off so much more petty, and I love it. And then there is the Dadvocate, and she actually commented on our last podcast episode, and she's like, oh my gosh, all my favorite YouTubers are covering this. I love it. And I was like, oh my God, what? You love us. We love you. You're amazing. And I want to that's one of the reasons I want to refilm our podcast episode, because I want her to call in. I want to talk to the Dadvocate. She's great. Are Lauren and the Dadvocate the same person? I don't think they are, right? I don't think so. Listen, I don't know anybody's name on TikTok. I hardly follow anyone on there, but like I always see people and I'm like, oh, hey, I love them. Okay, so let's let the Dadvocate take it away because she actually goes over the documents, the legal documents for the first lawsuit and like explains like the characters and all the people really well. So we're gonna let her take that over, and please go follow her TikTok. She's amazing. I'll have that linked down below. And I don't believe, actually, yeah, I think she does have a YouTube channel, maybe. She commented from her, it said Dadvocate. So I'll leave that down below too. So yeah, I'll leave that down below so y'all can follow her, like all of her social media and stuff. So anyways, go ahead, go follow that. She actually has a playlist, I believe, too. And then Lauren has one as well. So I'll have those linked down below and then you can follow them. So while we're watching those, because I want to rewatch them as well, we'll go ahead and do that. And when I come back, this will look more blended and not as stamped on my face. Okay, I'm such an idiot. Lauren and the Dadvocate are the same person. Lauren, I'm sorry. We're gonna get into it.
Okay, do you guys remember Chelsea Smallwood, the chick who was bragging openly about being the other woman and then started an entire coaching business for cheaters to pay her to give them pats on the back for being cheaters? I guess her whole shtick is like, I got a married man to abandon his wife and kids in China for me while I was also married, and you can too. Well, now she's being sued. In a public lawsuit filed in Miami County, Ohio, Chelsea Smallwood, her company, and one of her coaches, Olivia Nicodemus, are all being sued for damages resulting from what I can only describe as pure degeneracy. According to the lawsuit filed by a woman named Kristen Jacobs, the story all began when this woman, Kristen, found out that she was being cheated on by her spouse with her best friend. That best friend being Olivia Nicodemus. Kristen discovered Chelsea's Other Woman page when looking up content about infidelity and was absolutely effing floored to find a video of Chelsea reading Kristen's very own text messages about Kristen's very own affair word for word on her TikTok. So to find out how Chelsea even had these text messages, Kristen joined the Other Woman community anonymously, which you're allowed to do, only to find out that Olivia was also in there and posting pictures of both Kristen and her children.
So as you can imagine, I'm in love with Lauren. There's no way around it. Now, since Kristen filed her lawsuit, her complaint against Chelsea Smallwood, the Other Woman and the Wife Mistress life coach, and then another one of her coaches or community members, Olivia, for honestly just some horrific violating, just like the most dubious, honestly, like it's so crazy. So after that happened, Chelsea has decided, as they do, to pull a Uno reverse and say, no, wait, you, no, you, I sue you, is now suing Kristen, the betrayed wife, for tortious interference, I think, one of those. And obviously Lauren goes over it as well and just, saying, a countersuit, whatever.
In this lawsuit, it is alleged, among many numerous other complaints, that cheating coach Olivia Nicodemus posted the full name and family photos of Kristen Jacobs, the wife of her affair partner at the time, to the Other Woman community with the intentions of asking other members to compare their appearances. I guess to validate who's the hotter one or something. Another alleged complaint is that Chelsea Smallwood, the founder of the Other Woman community for cheaters, aggressively contacted this betrayed spouse's therapist in order to continue to bully her alongside Olivia. Well, internet cyber sleuths and longtime Chelsea haters have unearthed some evidence regarding these claims that is likely to be presented at the discovery trial. One user found this comment left by Olivia Nicodemus publicly on TikTok, responding to a comment that reads, "They cheat down. Someone with less self-esteem who is willing to accept crumbs and never be the priority. Also usually less attractive." To which chronic cheater Olivia gets offended and says, "Would you like to see some side-by-side comparison photos?" Pretty damning, and just kind of goes to show that this eagerness to compare physical appearances of herself to the wife that this man is cheating on was not exaggerated. And yet another user found this publicly posted comment by Chelsea on her own videos saying, "I contacted her therapist. She said it's a useless cause." So Chelsea is contacting betrayed spouses' therapists. And also, no therapist worth their license would ever answer a call from a complete stranger about a HIPAA-protected client and say, "Oh yeah, her? Lost cause." It's not enough for you to use your massive platform to bully people who have been cheated on, but you're also going to go out of your way to infiltrate their mental health care and then lie about it? And you bragged about doing that. Basically, internet detectives are honing in on this case, and I expect a whole lot more to start coming out in these next days and weeks. Ashley Madison Round 2 Electric Boogaloo is getting so crazy. Hit follow if you want more updates, because cheating bullies don't win. Boop.
But the thing is, what's really funny is that Chelsea has been on social media the past however long saying, since that first one was filed, saying, that business is booming, business is doing great. And I started, a business doing this and blah, 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 the girl boss type of marketing, right? And saying all that, well, obviously anyone can sue anyone, duh. Doesn't take a dumb to hire someone off of Fiverr, am I right? So to try to sue someone for tortious interference, not only that, but, and I don't know if she's also, working in the slander aspect of it, but, saying oh, you're trying to defame my business. And it's okay, girly pop, but being a business, being like a, public figure type of influencer sort of thing, right? Which she would be considered at this point, in my opinion. I'm not a lawyer. Again, I'm just a dumb with a camera, right? And a bulldog. He's snoring over there. To prove slander, which technically in this case, if it was that, it would be libel because it's published. Slander is for spoken, and yes, I know we're speaking on the internet, but we're publishing the spoken word on the internet. Slander would be going out on a street corner with a bunch of people around and me being like, this is an example. I'm not stating this as a fact. And being like, Chelsea Smallwood is an absolute dumb. She ruins marriages. And her business model is actually a cult. That would be slander. That's just an example. I am not stating that as a fact. And, all of those things. I'm just giving a little example there. Again, not a lawyer. That's just my understanding of it. People are allowed to have opinions regarding court filings and court cases. And when you are saying uno reverse no, you slander me, but then are using a marketing tactic of business is booming. I make so much money off of, and I'm not saying she does that, but from what I have seen, it does seem that she's like, oh, business is booming, whatever, haters, blah, blah, like she's one of those reportedly and whatnot. It's just absolutely so contradictory. So is this person slandering you and defaming your business and harming your business? And are you going to be able to prove and track down and trace, your business losses and financial damages to this person's TikTok page? Or are they simply just reporting on your own actions? Because to me, Chelsea
has officially cease and desisted me on Christmas Eve through email, not even certified mail. Let's take a look at it, shall we? So as you can see, this office claims to represent the Other Woman and the Wife LLC and Chelsea Smallwood, but it begins by trying to claim that I am bound to the Other Woman cheating community's terms of service contracts. Huh? She even says the facts concerning this matter are not in dispute. Yes, they are, ma'am. Look at me. I would never and will never pay you money to be one of your little other women, okay? I even say so in the video that you yourself cited. You can't just claim people joined your website and that they have to follow your rules with no evidence whatsoever. You will never in your life be able to produce a contract that I signed because I never joined your lame little cheating coven. So wow, Chelsea, it actually looks like you're the one defaming me. Her grounds for how it is a fact that I joined her community is because in a video that I made roasting her several months ago, I used the term, I snuck into her community. Bruh, I simply meant that I trolled your public comment section to get an idea of your audience. That doesn't contractually bind me to you. Are you out of your mind? She also got mad that I described her business as helping cheaters gaslight their spouses instead of her preferred definition of helping people heal as individuals. My opinion of what your business appears to be doing is not governed by your own personal mental gymnastics version of it. I'm allowed to have my opinion just like you're allowed to think that you're actually doing something good for the world. She also got mad that I called Olivia dangerous because I guess it's against the Other Woman Code or whatever, which again, I am not at all bound by. So my opinion that you and Olivia are dangerous remains legally protected. I have been threatened that I need to sign this form saying I destroyed all of my videos by December 31st or else. Chelsea has now made false allegations against me, against Kristen, and against numerous other individuals, putting her and her business dangerously close to malicious and deliberate misuse of court processes. I will be continuing to cover this case despite these threats and intimidation tactics because Kristen and the other betrayed spouses that Chelsea has built a career off of making fun of deserve justice. In this video and in all of my videos, I am stating my opinion based off of allegations made in a public lawsuit. And if you don't like it, here's a straw. Suck it up.
It sounds like you and your actions and your entire business model and, existence, possibly. And just like you being a human, in my opinion, obviously, because I don't know her. It seems like that is what is doing the damage. It seems like you bragging about being a advocate for infidelity and people cheating on their spouses and getting them to brag about, talk about absolutely just heinous things that they do to these, people who are just completely in the dark about these situations. It seems like that caught up with you. And all of this is the consequence of your own behavior, Miss Ma'am. I'm sure it's the fault of the TikTokers and YouTubers who have podcasters who have covered the story. I'm sure it's their fault. It's just so wild. Like when people, I will never understand this. When people get mad about someone making a video or talking about something, or rather just bringing more attention to it, that someone else did. It's like, how are you going to get mad at this person when it's like you did the thing? Be mad about your own actions. I just talked about it, girl. Lauren just talked about it. That's her job. Just like your job is apparently helping women heal. Heal from what? Ruining other people's marriages and sneaking into the bedrooms and having sex with their husbands right next to them while they're sleeping. That is wild and gross, and that's disgusting. Listen, if you're into, like being an exhibitionist or voyeurism, like you got to make sure all parties are consenting with that. Otherwise, like that's illegal. People having sex right next to you without your consent. It's got to be it's bordering, in my opinion, and I'm not a lawyer. I'm not in law enforcement or anything, but like and of course every state has, in the US and country obviously too, but every state specifically has, different jurisdictions and different laws regarding all those things, and like what they're called and stuff might be different other places. But still, if someone is having sex next to me and I'm like, can you please stop? Like, I don't need to be here for this. Please stop it. I did not consent to this. What's happening? So of course, Chelsea Smallwood is, like I said, doing what it seems most, for lack of better phrasing, dumb do on the internet these days, when they're like, oh my gosh, you're not allowed to talk about me.
You guessed it, even more updates in the Cheating Chelsea affair business lawsuit situation. A new character appears, digging Chelsea's hole a little bit deeper. If you're confused on what's going on, follow the Cheating Chelsea lawsuit hashtag or my playlist. I want to address this comment here by Mama Cole, and thank you so much for leaving this so that I can memorialize it so that neither you or Chelsea can delete further evidence. This reads, well, there's actually more to the story. Kristen and her husband invited Olivia into their marriage as a throuple, but then Kristen got mad when her husband chose to go with Olivia. And just curious where this information is coming from, Mama Cole, because it's certainly not published in the public lawsuit. Because you may remember that the entire reason that Chelsea is being sued is due to contract violating dissemination of private, personal, and identifying information, as well as bullying and harassment of members within the community. So if you're gossiping and colluding with Chelsea and or other women within her community, you're kind of proving Kristen's entire point. But you don't care about sharing personal and identifying information about people, do you, Mama Cole? Because here you are on episode 52 of Chelsea's Other Woman podcast talking about your own affair with a married man who you met on a dating website. And then, oops, there you are sharing his entire face on your public TikTok to shame him. Now wait, I actually called her out on this saying, oh, so it is okay to name and shame cheaters, to which she said, maybe it's a stock photo. But we both know it's not a stock photo, because here you are responding to a comment on that very same video with someone asking, who is this? To which you plainly reply, my ex-boyfriend. Meanwhile, Chelsea desperately continues to attempt to rebrand after mass deleting tons of evidence. To my followers, thank you for your unwavering support this year. Chelsea, your comments are turned off. I think it wavered. And trusting me to provide a safe, compassionate, space for those navigating the complexities of infidelity. Read as, those cheating. Also, for the love of God, hire an editor. What is this? Resources. Same with this. What is this? You got schmutz on your cheek. The rest of the post is basically her bragging about how her business is so much bigger and better than ever, with a wider audience than ever before.
This business is booming, people. It's fucking booming.
Which might help Kristen's case by showing that any damages she tries to claim appear to be immaterial. In conclusion, I find it deeply unsettling that the most common defense from these mothers of children seems to so far be, well, Kristen was asking for it. This is why I'm Kristen's army, and this is why cheating bullies don't win. Boop.
So I love the way that Lauren the advocate, has been handling this, and she's amazing. Like I said, I've seen her content so many times. I don't know why I thought it was two different people. It's like we got a James and Robert Welsh situation on our hands. So I don't know. It's obnoxious. One thing that's very funny is that while me and Sherilyn were recording our podcast episode last night, we were obviously talking about this. Like I said, I want to try to re-record that episode. So hopefully that episode is, all sorted, even though like my audio was, but we will have a lot more updates on the podcast about it. And we're going to fully go over and like read through all the court documents and all that, like whenever there is an update. So get really excited about it. I don't know about y'all, but I get really boned up for legal documents. Like, I will print that shit out, get out a highlighter, get out my red pen, pour myself a glass of Freak Show Cabernet, and just, get to it. Who needs a smut book when you can read through court filings, right? When you got a thick docket. So I really do personally think that me and Sherilyn and I are going to get some type of correspondence from her, probably a cease and desist of some kind. One can hope. The DM response that we got from her was really funny though, because it just reads as like her pretending that she has an assistant, or I don't know, like an AI assistant or something. And again, like I always say, is that you with a mustache on? Because that's what it's giving. And guess what? It probably is. So I will have way more content out about this. And then, like I said, on my podcast channel, Here for the Clout podcast, that'll be linked down below. Make sure you follow that. And we're going to go over just way more in depth. And hopefully we can have Lauren, the Dadvocate, on the podcast too, and have her call into the Clout phone. Really excited about that. So hopefully we can get her to do that. And yeah, so go follow her on TikTok. Her content is amazing. Realistically, if you're following me or Sherilyn, you're probably already following her because, I don't know, she's just spicy and sassy and I love it. She definitely like gives Here for the Clout vibes. Here for the Clout podcast vibes, She's a feral mommy, all right? All right, so I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. I keep saying for like almost all my videos lately, I'm like, this is probably my last video for the year. I probably have like 2 more after this, but I appreciate you. Thank you for all your support this year and all the views and the shares and the new subscribers. Thank you. Appreciate you. And I will see you in my next video. Make sure you go subscribe to Here for the Clout podcast. Okay, goodbye.